Here we go. We are live. Arun, it's over to you. We are live. You can start with inviting everyone.
Okay, great. I see a lot of people were actually waiting to hop in the moment we went in live. I already have 45 people who already uh, joined in the session. We will just wait for another minute because we have a huge number of participants who will be joining in. And as it's technology, I'm pretty sure that everyone is well aware about the fact that not everyone can actually hop in time. And sometimes, there is technology that plays a very critical role. So we would just give it another minute or two before we kickstart the session. Thank you so much for the patience. Good evening, all who are actually dropping in all the text messages in the chat box. I see, pandemic has actually taught us how to live in Zoom and how to make use of technology and how to be in a meeting as well. And again, I would like to thank you and welcome everyone. I see a lot of wishes that's coming in through the chat, and thank you so much for joining in. As I said, we will just wait for probably a couple of more seconds and we will kickstart. Yes, Shekhar, everyone is going to be on mute. As and when there is we will discuss about the schedule as to how it's going to be, and as and when there is something that we request you to speak out, and when you have questions, our team will unmute you. I have Pankaj, who is going to be the mission controller that I call it, is because I cannot, of course I can multitask, but then it's going to be very difficult for me to handle everything together. So I have Pankaj, who will be helping me out, and he will be unmuting you as and when you request to do so in the chat box, and we will definitely be keeping an eye, and we will also discuss the schedule. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to start off the session. Good evening, everyone. I have people probably who are sitting in the US as well, so good morning to those people as well who've taken time to come in for this particular session. I would like to introduce myself. First, my name is Arun Pillai. I'm part of Delphi for the past couple of years now, and definitely enjoying the training and development field is because that is one thing that actually keeps us all happy and alive, because we all want to learn, and every day it's a learning. and I see the amount of participants who've come in for this particular session is also looking forward to learn something and at the same time understand as to what exactly this webinar can bring in table for you guys. Right. So I would just like to give you quick expectation setting out here. As I said, I will be your host for today. And of course, I will be introducing you guys to the panelists as well and about the session. And at the same time, as I said, we will have a question and answer session with all the participants who are joining in right now. And towards the end, we will also send you a feedback. As of now, everyone is going to be on mute, apart from the panelists and the speakers, because sometimes what happens is that you may not be aware of the fact that you're you're unmuted yourself, and then we get disturbance, and that's the reason we've muted all the attendees. Having said that, you have the chat box, and I see that there are people who are using it very well, and I see all the wishes pouring in. Good evening, all, once again, for all the people who've messaged in the box. So with that, I would like to start off. I would like to start off the session. As you see, it's management accounting, right? Mastering management accounting skills to become a global financial leader. And management accounting also is known as managerial accounting, and can be defined as a process of providing financial information, resources to the managers in decision making, and so on and so forth. And today's session, we thought everyone is actually researching on management accounting and how to upskill themselves when it comes to leadership, how to upskill. Everyone wants to grow in their career, right? So we thought, why don't we bring in everyone together? Everyone has got a different thought process, and I'm very sure that you will agree to a fact that everyone comes from different field of expertise, right? So we thought we will bring in our panelists from IMA itself. So as you see, I have my speakers out here, Fenil Ahmed and Mr. Sham Shroff. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. I would definitely like to welcome upon each one of you. So I would like to give a quick introduction to each one of them. And I would, as and when I speak about them, I would request you, panelists to probably give a quick introduction about yourself as well, apart from what I'm going to say, of course. Right. So I have Ahmed Mkhallati, who is the Director, Regional Partners Relation for IMA. He is responsible for managing all of IMA strategic partners, government relations, and training partners in India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Ahmed, can I call you upon and probably, give me a few quick words about yourself, and so that I can move into other participants.
I'm sorry, Arun. Come again. I got interrupted over here.
Can you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Sure. Hello,
Sure.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I thank also Eddie Delphi for arranging this webinar. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this webinar, you're going to find it very beneficial. And I really hope that it's going to be a starting point in your career growth. Consider today's date as a landmark for something that you're gonna hear from all of us, and is gonna be a change lifestyle once we're done with this presentation. Again, my name is Ahmed Mkhallati, Director at the IMA. That stands for the Institute of Management Accountants. I got my education in the US, got my bachelor's degree in international business from California State University, Sacramento. I worked for about 10 years in the US. Then I decided to come back home to the Middle East, where I worked with the multinational training institute for 15 years as an executive director. And in 2014, I joined the IMA as Director, Regional Partners Relations. And up to this date, I'm happily employed by the IMA, and I love what I do at the IMA. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And as you rightly said, that everyone is actually very much interested in knowing more about the IMA and of course CMA part of it as well. And when it comes to CMA, of course, we will get more insights from you. And to which I would like to move on to Fenil Varakin, who has got 16 years of experience in the field of education, consulting, strategy, and management. He's very much passionate to serve business partners and people. And he's actually currently associated with IMA, and he's been part of IMA for the past 3 years. So, Fenil, a very warm welcome to you as well. Can you probably unmute yourself and quickly give me a quick introduction? Give us.
Hi, Arun. Thank you very much. In fact, it's great to see a lot of Indian names in the participants. I'm sure
Great.
some of you might be joining from India, or some of you might be joining from different parts of the world. And great to see the kind of growth happening in the industry, especially in the field of management accounting. And we are living in the world of technology, robotics, and analytics. And in this era, we need to really look at how to update ourselves. And I actually was working with different management accounting bodies for last I would say 12 years. In fact, I'm a deep fan of management accounting. If anyone comes to me and talk to me about any industry or any other qualification, finally, I'm sure they will go back by signing off for their management accounting program. So the reason behind why I'm deep fan of it, because I've seen the kind of growth happening for the management accountants in the industry, the kind of roles which is changing. And in this volatile world, management accountants are going to gain the ground. So, as I told you, last 12 years promoting management accounting, and with IMA is almost going to complete 3 years. But yes, as I mentioned to you, promoting CMA for such a long time. I'm based out of Bangalore and looking forward to meet and talk to you all. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. And I'm very sure there are a lot of participants who are actually looking forward to gain that knowledge in order to enhance their career and at the same time move ahead, as the topic says, it's all about financial leadership as well. So thank you so much, Fenil. With that, I would like to move on, Mr. Sham Shroff, qualified CPA, CMA, ACMA, CFA, CS, a great amount of experience of 22 years across audit advisory, financial and commercial operations. And going forward, I would like to bring him upon just to probably give a quick introduction about himself, probably a minute, because we will be getting to talk to him a lot more from Delphi perspective as well.
Fantastic. So this is Sham actually. I started my career in 1999, and from beginning only, I'm a passionate teacher. I like to train the people. So I'm teaching for a long time the CPA, CMA, all these qualifications like CFA, FRM, CIA. So for that, Ali, I can tell you that I'm a very much very passionate teacher, prospect, from the education perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I believe your passion for teaching and at the same time the expertise that you have in these fields would actually be very helpful for us, is because I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of questions that's going to come from our participants from the training perspective as well. Okay, so thank you so much for all the panelist members. In fact, I would like to welcome you guys once again to this beautiful session, and thank you so much for taking the time out to address these questions that we've asked a lot of participants who know about IMA, but then they were not much clear about it. And I personally deal with people who look for different courses and at the same time come to us asking a lot of questions. So we've actually come up with a certain amount of questions that we thought of asking you guys, so that it'll be helpful for everyone, right? So my very first question I would like to bring upon that to Ahmed. Sir, can you hear me?
Looks like Ahmed lost his connect. Whether you're able to see in his
I
panelist.
guess he's not able.
So maybe some network. He was mentioning that network issue.
Probably then I'll ask this question to you, Fenil.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so how does a person who is in India benefit from the US CMA certification, and what's the job prospect of CMA US in India?
Thank you, Aaron, for that question. So, in fact, when you look at from a CMA perspective, how its growth happened. So, if you really look at
Right.
last 2 years, the growth of CMA in India, it's almost 60% last 2 years. And this actually talk about the demand for management accountants are increasing day by day in the industry. And another interesting fact
Right.
for us now, many organizations started approaching IMA, or we start working with many organizations together. And definitely there are different kind of requirements. Some organizations look at for fresh graduates. Some of them look for senior people with CMA certification, where organization might come back and say that we need fresh CMAs, we need experienced CMAs with 2 to 5 or 5 to 7 or even 7+ years of experience for some of the director profiles and all that. So what we
Right.
do actually, we reach out to our candidates and update these kind of opportunities. So that's one side of it. On the other side, if you look at the growth from the overall perspective, now many universities and colleges, approximately around 50 plus universities and colleges, currently start offering CMA as an integrated or an add-on program for the students who are doing their undergraduate program. So I would say these universities also start realizing the skill gap between what industry looking forward and what they carry themselves. And they found CMA
Mhm.
as one of the preferred qualification which can actually fill the gap between what industry looking at. So I would say the great growth,
Okay.
I would say last 2 years, the great growth happening for CMA. Industry start more recognizing CMAs, and I could see most of our partners, including everyone, able to do a great justice for the students who are clearing the exams as well as able to place them in the market. Thank you. I think Ahmed joined.
That's
Ahmed,
great. So is Ahmed there?
yeah, Ahmed joined back. Ahmed, unmute yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry about
Okay.
interrupting you guys. I have a weak internet signal over here.
No problem.
But
No problem.
yeah, thank you, Fainul. I guess CMA, I would like also to add, when we're talking about the CMA certified management accountant, we're not talking about territory specific certification. We're talking about worldwide recognized certification that is known among 150 countries. And that's why it's not, we don't refer to it as USA CMA or IMA CMA. Once you are a CMA, you are an international figure. You have that international passport with the CMA certification to work anywhere in the world. We have a lot of
I guess we lost him again.
I think Fennel can take over.
Yes, I think. Yeah.
totally focused on financial planning, analysis, control, and decision support, and it will give the applicant or the CMA holder the skill set needed to drive the business performance. This is the significance of the CMA certification. Set apart that it's also a title, it's very prestigious, it's a credible, and it will give the CMA holder the distinction. And when we're talking about distinction, we're talking about opportunities in terms of career growth and in terms of financial package. And set all of those things aside, it will give you the personal satisfaction, the confidence that you have the skill set needed in today's business complicated environment.
Ahmed, maybe you can,
Well, that's
yeah, you can maybe disconnect the
sorry.
video. So that might give you better network.
Video, yeah.
Connect video or disconnect the video?
Disconnect the video.
Disconnect the video so that there's
Okay,
yeah.
I will disconnect the video.
Now
I'm not
it's
really
better.
sure if you guys have heard it before, but this is better. Is it better?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
It is
better
better.
now.
What I was
It
saying
is.
is like following up on what Arun and Faisal was saying. When it comes to the CMA, we're not talking about territory-specific certification. We're talking
True.
about worldwide recognized certification. We don't have it referred to or labeled as a USA CMA or IMA CMA. Once you are a CMA, you are a CMA, because once you get certified and you get that CMA certification, basically you got that international passport where you can work with the CMA certification anywhere in the world, in particular with those multinational companies. The CMA, unlike any academic degree, when we're talking about academic degree, this is something mentioned by my colleague Feno. We're talking about a bachelor degree or a master degree. Those are academic. But when we're talking about professional certification, it means you are an expert when it comes to financial planning, analysis, control, and decision support. And this is the beauty about the CMA. You're gonna be a decision maker. You're gonna help the upper management with the decision making as a strategic partner, how to drive the business performance within the organization. This is what the CMA, the three letters, mean by it, that you are capable of driving the business performance within organization. And nowadays, as you know, a bachelor degree is not enough. A professional certification is a must. It's not an option nowadays. In order to get a better opportunity, in order to get a better financial job opportunity or package, and in order to advance within your career itself, you need the skill set that is required today in today's business complicated environment. And going through what we're going through right now with the pandemic and the COVID and the downsizing and laying off employees within organization itself, you need to be future proof. The CMA certification will give you that kind of privilege because it's recognized, because you will acquire the skill set that is needed, best practices in an accounting and in finance when it comes to management accounting. And at the same time, it will give you the competitive advantage when it comes to career growth or job opportunities. Set aside, there is also a title. CMA, the three letters, you can add them to your title within your signature or your email signature. And of course, I mean, once you become a CMA, you will have a network of over 140,000 members within our IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants. That's why, I mean, basically, in a nutshell, when we're talking about the CMA, why the CMA? That is provided by the IMA. We refer to the IMA as the Association of Accountants and Financial Professionals in Business, meaning that we basically equip the CMA holders with the skill set needed in order to drive the business performance, and we make sure that the certification itself is dynamic, is always relevant, is always valid, and always current. What I mean by that, relevant, valid, and current. What I mean by those three terms, every 5 years we do a job survey. We talk to top-notch companies, CFOs, top executives, and we tell them, we'll ask them, what are the skill set needed today? With the artificial intelligence and the robotics and the blockchain and all of that, we keep changing the curriculum to make it more dynamic with the current market demand. So as of January 2020, and probably most of you would know that we have integrated part has to do with IT and data analytics, because management accountants are supposed to analyze. They're supposed to have the analytical skills. And I don't want to scare you guys out there. A lot of the jobs that we are familiar with, if we're talking about bookkeeper and accountant, they're going to be annihilated with the artificial intelligence and all the robotics, because we know very well companies, they're going to be invest in machines rather than invest in a human resources, because at the end of the day, they're looking at the return of their investment. If you're not future proof with the worldwide recognized certification, there is a red flag, you guys. And this is the thing that we were trying to relate to you, that you need to be future proof. And the way to be future proof is to get CMA certified if you're going into management accounting. This is what I wanted to really quick share, following up on the current discussion.
That's absolutely. In fact, it's a day in a generation wherein you have to keep yourself updated, and at the same time, it's of course, monetary perspective is very necessary. It's something that people look for. I want to earn more. I want to join a company which is more renowned and things like that. And in the world of AI and machine learning, of course, you have to keep yourself updated. And it's more about logical. It's more about how practically well versed are you with the knowledge that you gain from these kind of qualifications, and that's where my understanding is that you guys come into picture. But there is to that I would just like to add a question. In fact, these are, one question is a myth maybe, and one is, does IMA have any approved employer, or do they have tie-ups with employers in India? And they say that, again, it's a myth, stating that, IMA hire more, only American-based companies. In India, there are so many American-based companies, and more American-based companies hire participants who are CMA, and not other institutions or other organizations. Fennel, would you like to highlight?
Sure, I can take that. And
Sure, Ahmed, because that is something to what you actually said about the amount of opportunities that's there in the industry. So that is, an added question to the statement that you've come up with.
Ahmed, you go ahead, then I can add if required.
Yes.
uh, uh, um, should I go first, and finally, please
Yes,
feel
yes,
free
yes,
to
Ahmed.
add whatever you feel at your side.
You are always
But
right.
some of the companies, I mean, if we're talking about international companies, if we're talking about international companies, just to name a few, KPMG, Accenture, Genpact, McKinsey and Company, Wipro, Walmart, Bosch, EY, Amazon, Dell, Philips, LT, Intel, VMware, BMW, Ford, Adobe, Caterpillar, Johnson and Johnson, and Capgemini. So just to name a few of them. This is like if we're
Right.
talking about those multinational companies that work in India and operate in India. If we were talking about like in the region, for the Middle East, we have prominent companies we work with very closely, such as Aramco, Mubadala, SABIC, RTA. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with UAE-based companies such as Mubadala and RTA,
Yep.
just to name a few.
Yes.
Those companies, we work very closely with them when it comes to the CMA. The thing is, with the CMA certification, this is something for the learner and development managers. They are keen to develop their employees' skills, and this is the recommended management accounting certification.
That's
Thank
great.
you,
In fact,
Ahmed.
that actually answers, that answers all of it. In fact, with the amount of companies, there are a lot of German companies that was mentioned out there as well, European companies, in fact, and not only the US companies, of course, and of course in UAE, Middle East as well, there are companies who are actually hiring CMA. So I guess that kind of question is at least cleared with the amount of participants that's joining this particular session. So I would just like to bring in another question, and probably, again, probably Fennel or Ahmed, both, any of you can pick this up. It's a very commonly asked question, whether I can do CMA USA while pursuing my BCom or MCom or any other qualification before I have a graduation, maybe, or when I'm doing my master's right after my graduation. And is it difficult to do it?
Maybe I think I can answer for that, because especially when you look at the candidate student community, those who are doing CMA along with the graduation or post graduation, I think that's the biggest communities there in India. I would say almost 66% of the student or the candidates in India are student members. Are they doing idly with the undergraduate program or postgraduate program? Yes, it's very much
Correct.
possible, and I have seen the success stories. In fact, today we had a chapter, even the secretary of that chapter, or the coming up the podcast, IMA podcast from the student, she actually completed CMA while she was preparing for her graduation. So likewise, we do have like almost like every year a good number of students across universities preparing for CMA along with the graduation, and how this is actually going to help them. Because what you look at, well, we know every year hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of students comes out of your cities every year who completed a graduation or post graduation. And we know on the same
Right.
side there is a competitive world, and according to the NASCOM in India, what they say, only 10% of graduates are employable. It's not because of there are not
True.
jobs available. It is majorly because of the skill gap between what industry looking forward and what we what we carry from a graduation perspective. Now, CMA kind of a qualification actually brings this gap, and
True.
what I've seen when they complete CMA with graduation or post graduation, they're able to place themselves in a right profile. So I always ask the same question to the students who actually complete the CMA and start working, and said, I mean, whether CMA is helping you in your career. And especially when I get this feedback from fresh graduates who are joining with the corporates, they say the most, best thing which they actually enjoy when they start working, the people even with 5 to 10 years of experience come and ask them how you have done this analysis. I think that is what CMA is bringing to the table, especially when you start working in a corporate as a fresh graduate. And yes, it's very much possible you can do your CMA exams while you're doing graduation. But yes, to finally to qualify yourself as a certified management accountant, you need to score or you need to gain 2 more years of relevant experience in the field of accounting and finance. I hope it I answered the question. Maybe Ahmed can add
That's
anything to
great.
it.
Would I like to add something, Ahmed, to that? Or else I just have another question, and I would like to bring in Shamsar into this, is because as he's one of the expertise in teaching, and he's doing fantastically well. In fact, we get a lot of feedback about our students as well. So I would like to ask this question to him. If as Phil said that if I can do graduation and I can do side by CMA side by side, do you really think that it is possible from a time management perspective, and how much time would it actually take for me to invest in doing CMA side by side if I'm studying CMA? Sham sir, I guess he's on mute or he's not connected.
Sham, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. So, Arun, thank you very much. You started you asked me a very valid question. And that's a very valid question. See, the charter, your CMA and BCom can be done doable very easily together. The reason is very simple. Whatever syllabus we covered in CMA, okay, around 60 to 70% syllabus is already available in BCom. Only difference is what? When you study the BCom in India, okay, we don't go through with that conceptual detail, okay. But in CMA, the things have been put in such a way which are very detailed, okay, and throughout conceptual. So that is very much helping to the students for in the job market, employable, so they can apply that knowledge in the work front. Whereas in the BCom, it's a little lacking. So that perspective, it's
Right.
very much possible from time management, because if they do CMA, as per me, they can score more better in the BCom even, or in graduation also, along with the CMA.
Right.
So that's if somebody can do that, it's a great thing.
I
Excellent.
appreciate, in fact, Sham's point. Yeah, this is the same point which or when we discuss this to the students, especially those who are doing undergraduation or post graduation, what we talk. See, when you look at all the 6+6 core practice areas of management accounting, which you learn as part of the CMA certification, and most of these topics you might see in your graduation or post graduation programs. The only difference is I look at, we learn all this from knowledge and comprehension perspective. But what
Right.
happens with IMA tests your application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation skills. So that
Right.
is one of the the way of difference or way of learning it, which you need to change. Maybe till graduation or post graduation, we might mostly looked at like what it is, define it as, or just give some examples and post it. Am I right? But here, what happens? As Shah mentioned, you need to go back to your concepts. Or when you study a particular topic, you need to ask the same question back to you, like why I'm learning this, where I'm going to apply that, and what is the concept behind it, and where I can apply, and when I apply, what will happen. So the way IMA test or CMA test your skills, it's not from, we call as level A, level B, level C. Level A is knowledge comprehension, level B is application analysis, level C is evaluation and synthesis. So you're learning, or you will be tested up to level C. That is where the learning change need to happen. I used to tell the students, you need to go back as a small child, like between 3 to 5 years. If you actually notice them, you can see, like, if you tell them this is a mobile, they will come and ask you 100 questions about the mobile. So
Absolutely.
same way you have to ask yourself. So in a way, I would say CMA is something need to be learned, not to be taught. Yes, your trainers, your faculty members are all here to guide you, but the learning need to happen from you, and the learning should be concept oriented, analytical oriented. I hope
The best thing I like about the CMA is what, for every topic, whatever you study in the CMA, okay, you have logic behind it. When we study the BCom or MCom, we don't know where we'll use it and when we'll use it. But in CMA, whatever we teach, each and every point has applicability in the practical point of view. And the fantastic thing is that they teach you where you can apply this logic, how, because all the questions are very practical, real life situation. It's starting from from basic grocery shop to a big multinational company, so the concept can be applicable to every front. So if somebody is a CMA, not necessary that he need to work for a big multinational company. He can work for a private company also, in a smaller company also, in a mid-size and a big company. So if employable in any kind of company, and most important, he can be entrepreneur. It will also help the people to be entrepreneur, because when you study something and when you know how you apply that, then it's the biggest joy. You are studying something with a concept that when I can apply it. So that's the biggest benefit of the CMA as compared to any other qualification I found out.
Right. So I
Thank you,
believe that
Mr.
this is.
Shiam. I would like to add one thing also, Mr. Shiam, and everybody out there. I mean, the CMA is built around those they want to go into the business world. And we actually have CMA certified that they come also from non-accounting and finance background. In particular, they are engineers and they want to join the business world. And the CMA is built about the business world. It's not built about concept or theories. So we'll put them in real life business environment, what exactly they need to know and have the skill set to drive the business performance within organization. And yeah, absolutely. I've seen self-employed entrepreneurs that they wanted to get CMA certified because when it comes to a business, it's all about numbers. And I've also attended a lot of board member meetings. All they want to talk about is numbers, and there's no one more qualified to talk about the numbers and analyze the numbers than a CMA. So thank you so much for bringing this on the table, Mr. Shiam.
Well, that actually says that you are getting prepared yourself. I mean, you prepare yourself for the betterment of your life, and at the same time for the future of what you can see, and apply the skills and understand where do you stand when it comes to applying those skills and knowledge, and probably rate yourself as well. And whatever you've learned probably in your graduation, you can put that in different methodologies, and that's where the logic come into picture, and you're ready for the future. And that says that having said that, it actually brings me to another question, which is from a career growth perspective, what should I expect if once I clear CMA? What should I expect? And how do I see myself, or where do I see myself in coming years? In 3-4 years or whatever. So how does it help me? The question is career growth perspective as a professional. What can I expect if I'm a CMA professional?
I think I would like to take up this question, and definitely Ahmad might add few more points to this. So this is one of the survey which we have done within our CMAs. So 80% of CMAs feels that their certification enhances their ability to move across areas of business. So what actually this looked at, like being a CMA management accountant, you are definitely in the executive leadership levels. You can work in accounting, finance, IT, operations. So wherever you need to take a decision, that is where a management accountant play a vital role. Now, if you look
Right.
at 34% of people who completed CMA around the world currently work as CFOs, executives, and controllers. 22% of them work as directors and managers, and 33% of them work as cost accountants, management accountants, financial consultants, financial analysts, data, I would say more into risk management, as well as investment analyst kind of profiles. So if you really look at these profiles, you can see around 33% of people who are currently working and helping organization in decision making, and 22% of them are between the final decision makers and who help collate and create the right reports for the organization. And 34% of people who completed the qualification in the world currently work as decision makers. So it's very clearly say the kind of a professional growth which is happening for a
Mhm.
CMA in the industry. Yes, you start supporting the decision making, and finally you reach into the decision making within a short span of time. That might be one of the reasons behind. I've seen many even qualified other qualified professional accountants or even MBA finance graduates even get into CMA maybe after their 5 years or even 10 years of experience, because CMA actually brings more a decision making skills. As Ahmad mentioned earlier, they are more value creators, and they work very closely with business strategic planners or business strategic decision makers. So I think that's one of the way where management accountants brings value to the table. And some of the
Mhm.
profiles which they work, you can see they work in finance, non-finance, they work as data scientists, risk and treasury, business analysts, different profiles wherever you need to take a strategic decision making.
That's great. So that's like a Pandora of opportunities that just opens up, is what I see. So I would just like to bring in. Thank you so much, Fel, for adding that up. I would just like to bring upon a poll question. We thought we will might as well engage our participants as well. So I have a poll question out here for you. Can my team just pop that up? I see a lot of questions that's come up from the participants. Thank you so much. And definitely we have a certain amount of time that we would dedicate to answer those questions. Okay, so have you heard about CMA US certification? Wow, that's a huge amount of people.
But good to see the percentage as well.
Exactly.
Still people need to know about CMA.
And so, that's the best part about these sessions. In fact, it is something that actually gives you a lot of options, of course, and at the same time knowledge that you gain from these sessions is because I'm definitely learning a lot. I cannot deny that fact. But it's for those people. I see 16% of the people, definitely this might be very helpful. 82 people, it's an increased knowledge, advancing the knowledge of CMA. Okay, so we stop it out there. It's a minute. So I have 40 people who have answered. 83% people say they know about CMA, and 18% people say they don't know about CMA. Thank you so much. We will park this and we will come down to the questions that we had earlier from from our attendees. We will come to that later on. Thank you so much for participating. So I would like to ask a personal question. How CMA US can be a game changer for finance students? Because there are
Ahmed?
people who are professionals. How can it be a game changer in their life? For people who are right at the graduation level, and people who have probably 10, 15 years of experience.
Ahmed, you're muted.
Amit, can you take that?
Yep. Yeah, sure. I can take this question over here. Well, first of all, I mean, when it comes to the title itself, CMA, and I've met a lot of HR personnel where they go through CVs by the hundreds, and most of them, they were very frank with me, and they told me like, you know what, Ahmed, when we review a CV, we only take about 10 to 15 seconds reviewing the CV because we get so many applicants, but we certainly differentiate those CVs that right next to the holder of that CV that has a title, such as a title as a CMA, because we're talking about professional certifications with two rigorous exams. And once they pass the two rigorous exams, they have proven themselves to be worthy of being a very important team player within that organization itself. And they have what is required to help the company achieve its overall objectives. So my advice to you, even if you are in the process of getting CMA certified, please make sure you write it down on your CV because it will certainly makes the difference. Now, HR personnel, they're looking for those that they have combination of an academic degree plus a professional certification and a few years of experience. Even if you are at the university level, I highly recommend that you start with the CMA certification because once you get that bachelor degree and at the same time you are preparing yourself or you have sat for the two parts exam of the CMA and you have been credited by the ICMA, the one institute that provide the CMA certification, that you have passed both parts of the CMA, it will certainly make a big difference when it comes to employment opportunities. This is the trend right now. It's not only about an academic degree, it's the combination between the academic degree and a professional certification that is focused and to the point. And this is exactly what they're looking nowadays within organization.
Great. I definitely like the fact that you said that you've gotten in touch with a lot of HR and they literally filter out and they know the value, and the question and the questionnaire or the interview stays very short is because of the credibility that they have. So that I would just like to ask you. I mean, if once I'm a graduate and you say that I can pursue my CMA when I'm doing graduation, and can I mention that I have appeared and I have given the exam? Can I mention that as well in resume in my CV?
Yes, you can mention it that you're preparing for the CMA certification. And if you pass any parts of the CMA exam, you can certainly mention it. And for those the universities, I mean, students, I'm not really sure if it has been mentioned before because my internet over here connection is not that great. But university students, they have 7 years of a grace period to provide the IMA with the bachelor degree and the 2 years required experience. So they can sit for the exam, they can pass the exam, they get official email from the ICMA that they have passed the CMA exam, and they're given 7 years of a grace period to provide the bachelor degree and the 2 years experience. Once that provided to us, we will extend the certification.
That's great. Thank you so much for enlightening us with that information, and also sorry.
Question to Ahmed. So that means if any student who are studying in grade, let's say in the passed out class 12, and after that they can do the CMA, and within 7 years they need to pass the graduation. Am I right? So it will.
You're on mute, Fennel.
So in order to get your CMA credential and CMA certification, you get up to 7 years for completing your graduation and submitting your 2 years experience and clearing both part exams. But provided, anyway, we know that in graduation in India, it's 3 years. I hope it's the same way in Middle East. So within 3 years, you can complete your graduation, and maybe or 4 years, depends on the universities. And then you can add your 2 years of experience within 7 years time when you join with CMA program.
Okay,
Fantastic.
great. Thank you so much. And it also says that even the statistics say that your CMA certified actually get paid more than a non-certified individual. That's something very monetary, and I believe this is a question that comes up quite often. So what would you like to say out there, Fanan?
So definitely, according to the survey, it says definitely they be getting a certain percentage. I'm not sure this year what is the percentage. See, the reason behind why I looked at here from a monetary perspective, because I usually tell the students who are actually fresh graduates who are coming and completing their graduation with CMA, in the first 3 to 5 years, your focus should be more on what profile you're getting and where you're going to develop your career in that for the next 10 years time. So salary, yes, definitely, and it's very clearly says CMAs get much paid. Even last year when we have done a student leadership conference in Bangalore, and one of the student actually came out with the question like, why should I do CMA right now, or is it better I do CMA after my graduation? So the
True.
general
Yeah.
manager from Wipro came back and said, if you do CMA and graduation, you get 1.5. I mean, you get just 50% extra than a normal undergraduate student. I think
Correct.
that's talk about, what is the industry requirement and how you make a difference from the salary perspective. But I still recommend students in the first 3 to 5 years, you should look at the right profile and how to build your profile for the future.
Absolutely. And talking about the future, that actually rings a bell. And I would first of all like to get this poll question before I ask you this very important question in current generation that's happening. So I would like to ask my team to bring up that question first and probably bring my attendees into engagement because it's a very interesting question. And that's the world that we're moving into, right? So which technology trend will have the greatest impact on our industry in the next year? We've known how it is. So come on. There are people who've already started, which is Internet of Things, data analytics, machine learning, automation.
I think you should add all the four.
Should have kept, but okay, we'll give it a couple of more seconds. Wow, data analytics has got a huge chunk. Okay. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for the participation. Now, as you see, it says data analytics. That's one top thing that's in the world right now. Machine learning is there, automation is there, but when it comes to data, and we are talking about managing accounting, right? So before we get into that, I would also like to ask you, in order to understand data analytics, the stronger technical skills that are actually needed, in any role of management accounting, it has actually changed a long time. The generation that we are in right now. How does, in order for me to fit in my business model, how do I keep myself updated when it comes to technology? Ahmed or anyone of you can take that question. Ahmed is there.
Yeah, Ahmed is there. Ahmed, do you want to answer? Okay, no issues. I think Ahmed might facing some network issues.
Sure.
I think this is one good thing which I would like to talk right now. I think this entire topic which I'm going to talk to you right now, it is very related to the topic or the poll which we have done just now. So we all know that we are living in the world of technology, analytics, and robotics. Yes, these are creating a lot of disruption in the market. But if you look at from the other perspective, it's actually help to create more, 1 minute, help to create better ease work for the human beings. But at the same time, you need to look at what is going to happen in the industry. According to the studies, what they say, almost 50 percentage of the finance and accounting jobs, what you see right now, won't be there in the near future. IMA
Right.
and Deloitte done a research based on that. It's actually based on when the finance transformation happening in the industry.
Right.
According to the studies, what they say, only almost 28 percentage of organizations started going through the finance transformation right now. And in the next 5 years, almost 86 percentage of companies are going to go for this finance transformation. So one thing you need to look at, which are the areas which is going to affected by the finance transformation. So you can see finance reporting, general ledger closing accounts, operating accounting, financial planning analysis, control compliance, and treasury. And you can see this percentage of changes or automation going to happen or transformation is going to happen in this industry. Yes, definitely
Right.
you should know about these topics, but you might be not finally ending up only in these jobs. And what are the skill set which you required for the future? One is critical thinking, problem solving skills, and that is what we discussed in the beginning itself. CMA is helping you to look at more concept oriented, analytical, and application oriented certification. Strong technology skills. Now, we discussed about data analytics, and if you really look at from 2020, the CMA syllabus included technology and analytics as part of the certification. So, being a management accountant, you might be not a person who's into the technical side of data analytics, but you should be able
Correct.
to give more insights and foresights for the management. And the other
Right.
skills which we required are people skills, data analytics skills, and understanding the overall business or the industry. Now, we
Right.
mentioned about the same thing. A management accountants must also become data scientists to deliver insights and foresights. So the question here, whether we are going and talking about, Python, R, or any of these softwares, no. But here we, being a management accountant, being a data scientist, you should know the analytics and you should know how to ask the right question to the people and the robotics.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
now the interesting side, if you look at that, Ahmed was mentioning in the beginning, every 5 to 6 years, we IMA go around the world and ask the employees what kind of skill set you are looking at. That process we call a job analysis study. So as part of the job analysis study, IMA create our management accounting competency framework. So what IMA
Right.
management accounting competency framework, these are the skills which required for the future, and that's in the management accounting and finance industry. And these are strategy, planning, performance, reporting control, technology, analytics, business acumen and operations, professional ethics and values, and finally it is centered with leadership skills. The interesting side, if you look at the IMA Deloitte study, even the management accounting competency framework, it very clearly says what skills a management accountant need to possess in the future, and that is what even you learn as part of CMA certification and IMA benefits. So I think that's what I thought like I could add few
That's great. In
information to
fact,
that as well.
that's definitely very valuable information that you've added, and I guess that's where the also there's something that your program that you're learning, that also matters a lot, and how you actually put this information across, because it's not about the what factor. I might have beautiful content and I might have all possible information about IMA, but how I deliver that information to my participants is very important. And with his experience, I would like to bring upon Shamsar and probably share his experience when it comes to teaching CMA, and how students reciprocate to their questions, and how they go about giving the exam, how you go ahead, share your experience with them.
see, as Mr. Fanil said, I fully agree with him that the CMA gives a really very practical experience, and I've seen a lot of students who uh, on the time of study, during the time of study, and they keep on coming and telling me that, sir, it's helping me a lot in my job. Okay, now I understood how to control the cost, because cost control is just a topic, unless and until you know the techniques, tools and techniques, how to control it. Okay, when you talk about the performance management, when you talk about a lot of other areas which is mentioned in the CMA, they always come back and they tell that, sir, it's giving me immense pleasure that right now what job I'm doing it in the office. Okay, I always try to correlate that what I'm studying in the CMA, it's very practical. Okay, and they, as Mr. Fanil said, that they keep on changing the syllabus according to the need of the industry, and that's the fantastic thing for the CMA, that they understand the need of the market, and according to that they keep on changing it. And most of the students, even though some students don't go for the exam or they don't appear for the exam after some time due to several reasons, right? But in spite of that, they always come and tell it's helping them in their job profile. Even I've seen the people from marketing side, people from sales side, HR, so non-finance and accounting background, even for them also, it's very helpful.
Yes, what you said, even we do have a lot of engineers now start looking at CMA, even some of the big B schools in India. I've seen students start looking at CMA as a program. So definitely, B schools definitely taught you a lot about management. I think there was like recently the Harvard dean was actually giving his comment about management account. Sorry, the MBA programs. But when you look at even management programs, there also they require the hardcore skill of finance and decision making, and that's one thing which I personally really like about management accounting that brings to the table. Where whether you work for an industry in the corporate role in the big corporate sector, or whether you want to start your own company, like the currently there is a one student got selected as she's one of the young professional member for the global board of IME, and she started her own company within 2 years of, or I mean, she actually started within a year of her graduation with CMA certification. So it's very clearly says CMA brings value to the table, whether you are running your own business, whether you are working in the private sector.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. In fact, that was quite enlightening. In fact, when it comes to understanding IMA and CMA, of course, when it comes to keeping yourself updated as well, there's a lot of insights that we've received. In the interest of time, I would like to move into the questions that I have got from the attendees out here. There are a good amount of questions. There are around 21 questions. I'm not pretty sure that whether we'll be able to answer all those questions, but then I have a few out here, which is, I see that there is one from Deepa. Deepa says, as a layman, question is whether there has been changes with respect to analytical skills required. What exactly are we looking at in the module financial planning, analysis, and control? Ahmed, would you be able, because this question is to you.
I don't know.
Ahmed, is he there?
Your voice was breaking even for me. I'm not sure. Is it my network issue or is it your network issue?
Yeah.
So basically, Deepa's. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
No worries. I will answer this question, but again, if I get disconnected, please, you guys carry on. But when it comes to
No
the
problem.
CMA exam structure, effective as of January 2020, and the part one exam, actually, we have 6 topics: external financial reporting decisions, planning, budgeting, and forecasting, performance management, cost management, internal controls, and technology and analytics. This is for the first part. For the second part, we're talking about strategic financial management. Has to do with the analytical skills and decision making, financial statement analysis, corporate finance, decision analysis, risk management, investment decisions, and professional ethics. Now, those that they come from accountant background, they favor part one, the financial planning, performance, and analytics. And those that they come from the finance background, they favor strategic finance management. By the way, I mean, with the CMA exam is not prerequisite to pass part one before you move on to part two. You can start with part two, then sit for part one. They're not interrelated, they're independent of each other. So if you'd like to have a deeper look at what exactly is under any of those 12 topics, I recommend that you visit our website and look for the content specification outline that will go in deep what each topic, what each part or subtopic will cover. And also I would suggest to have a look at the LOS, the learning objective statements. What you're going to be able to learn from these topics over here.
Yeah, it's well right said by Hamad. There are two great documents which is part of CMA, IMA website. When you go to the CMA certification and search for content specific outline and learning outcome statement, and the first document will give you in-depth knowledge about what CMA as a qualification cover in our program. And you can see like a nutshell or an overview of that, which I am presenting it right now. And learning statement, learning outcome statement is something, a document which help you to look at, okay, I've completed my CMA program, and these are the skills which I learned, and these are the learning outcomes of the program. You can just even search in IMA Global or Google, and you can say content specific outline. You get this page link, and you can download that, and it will be a really great document for your reference. Thank you, Ahmed, for bringing that to the table.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Great. Thank you so much for that. I have another question from Srinivas. I'm a chartered accountant, CA India. I would like to know how doing the US CMA will give me an edge over the Indian CA market, or what can I expect more different on completion of US CMA? This is purely for Indian market.
Yeah. So can I give the answer for this, Arun?
Yeah,
See,
Sure.
yeah. Basically, yes. Indian Chartered Accountants have great qualification, since I'm also Indian Chartered Accountant. But as far as CMA is concerned, I believe that up to some extent, CMA has got more practicability. Some of the topics are very practical, and it is very relevant for your current market scenarios. Definitely, as a chartered accountant, you have an age, almost all the topics, whatever is covered in the CMA. But the way questions are being asked in the CMA, okay, that really give you advantage to learn the things more practically, and how you can use that, how things are usable in a practical front in your industry. Okay, that is something is little different from the chartered accountancy, because there a lot of things are still theoretical. Okay, whereas in the CMA, it's totally practical in the question answer session also. Because what happens when I teach, I tell always the students that, see, don't try to memorize anything, try to understand the concept, the industry perspective. Okay, so that is how it can be helpful to you as a chartered accountant also.
Shyam, you
That's
said
great.
it really well. Yeah, because being a chartered accountant, you can give a better answer. And I've seen many chartered accountants actually looking at CMA from the same perspective, and actually they come back and say, like, if you actually go through the syllabus and the way how it is tested, that's amazing to see the application part of CMA. It is, and you know how to do things in the real business situations. Thank you, Shyam, for your answer.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Shamsar and Fanil, for that. Another question is, what are the criteria to pursue CMA for a professional qualification member such as ACCA? Is
See,
there any specific criteria?
there is no specific criteria, but we consider ACCA like even if you are not an undergraduate, we consider ACCA as equivalent to that. So you don't need to do any other graduation program, because your ACCA program is considered to be for that. So you can actually pursue CMA. Here, when you look at, I know this question sometimes comes, especially from India, like how many papers I get exemption by doing in another professional qualification.
Yes.
I think that's the one question which comes up multiple times in India when I do the presentation, especially for a mixed group of students and professionals. See, IMA believes in earn the credential. So whether
Right.
you are a CFO, CEO, or anyone in the even any other qualified person, we respect your qualification, your knowledge. We really appreciate that. But to be qualified as a certified management accountant, you need to write both exam. You need to be tested on the skills which I am looking at up to level C. I hope I able to answer the question.
And
That's
Fennel, I
great.
would like
Thank
to add one more thing to this because, I mean, when we first launched the CMA certification, it was back in 1973. The association itself was established in 1919. So we're over 100-year old association. However, the CMA certification was introduced back in 1973. And at the time, up to 2012, I believe, it used to be 5 parts. It used to be 4 parts exam, and you will become a CMA. And if you sit for a fifth part exam, you'll become a CMA CFM. But back in 2012, we decided that some of those topics are repetitive topics that probably taught at the university level or through other certifications. And we reduced the number of exams from 5 to 2. And therefore, the 2 exam is a must sit for exam, no exceptions. So we're not talking about 14 or 16 papers. We're only talking about 2 papers.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. And I have another question that's come from Ravina. Is it better to study CMA after finishing ICWAI?
Even I can give an answer to that, Arun. I'm IFWI
Okay,
also.
thank you.
So again, coming back to
Great.
the same answer, that if you are a CMA, right? Okay, it will really help you to pass the ICWI faster, because there are so many topics. One, the bigger advantage you will get it, what if you do the CMA, you will know how to study. You know how to link the theory with practical. So that will ultimately help you to pass the ICWI also easily. Okay, see, other way. So I will say rather that better to do CMA first and then go for IFWI. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that that question has been answered, Ravina. In the interest of time, I would like to take the last question. This is for Fennel, sir. What is the challenges that one can face in India for India CMA? If I am an India CMA, what are the challenges I may face?
I think Sham actually answered for that when the question came up regarding the Indian Chartered Accountant. So definitely, it's a great qualification. As we always say, we respect all the professional bodies, and I personally believe all the certifications are created with an intention to support industry and society. So definitely, all these qualification brings to that table. But when you look at from CMA perspective, it is more application oriented, analytical oriented. And I do have many people who completed CMA and even CMA US, Indian CMA and US CMA. I think I would differentiate that that way here. Otherwise, CMA is
Right.
IMA CMA. So from the people who actually completed both certification by writing both exams, they actually say the way how CMA tests the application skills, which is amazing compared to many of the qualifications. So I think that is the one thing which you need to look at. The learning you need to change. Learning not from a
Right.
theory perspective or not from a number perspective. It is more about application, concept, and analysis. I think that's a learning which you need to change. In fact, I just want to add one small example. I actually visited one of the universities. So I see actually a student crying. So I actually asked the HOD like why she's studying, why she's crying, whether you actually taken over her mobile, because in the college the mobile is not allowed. So he was telling that this is the first time she actually failed in the exam, and she's a rank holder of
Right.
one of the states in India. at the like 12th state
Wow.
rank holder, but she failed first time. So what the difference here? It is not about by hearting, as Sham mentioned.
Correct.
It's more about application concepts. That's the one change which is required. And if you know how to do that, and once you're done it, I'm sure even later on, even if you want to look at multiple qualification, international qualification, you'll be able to do that much faster. Thank you.
Correct. Correct. Thank you so much. I have a lot of questions. I guess I will take one last question, which is again challenges. US again. These are challenges again. I'm getting a lot of challenging questions out here. So, what are the challenges US CMA have over ACCA or CMA in relation to the popularity of their reporting standards?
Reporting standards. Sham, you would like to answer because this is
See,
more from an accounting
as far as
perspective.
the reporting standards, I believe there is no difference, because what happened, as Penil said, that every qualification is good when you talk about the FEMA UK, when you talk about ACCA, or you talk about the CMA. Every qualification have their own uniqueness. Okay, and the requirement in the market. Okay, now when you talk about the CMA, as I told, that the CMA is a easy qualification as compared to any other qualification, because it will help you to have a habit to understand the topic in depth. That's the best part. I like it. If you do the CMA, for you any other qualification doing it will be very easy, because by the time you pass the CMA, you generate a habit to understand the topic from in depth. Okay, and the best thing is
Yeah.
what, how you can apply your understanding in the practical world. Okay, so once you have that feeling, okay, that will help you for any other qualification. So that's the great advantage. Number two, since CMA has only two parts, okay, you can appear for the examination 6 months in a year, anytime, any day. So those are some flexibility in the CMA, which have an advantage as compared to, I can say, any other qualification. So more flexible, time duration is less, very practical, and well accepted in the industry throughout the globe. So these are the, you can say, the snapshots of the CMA, I can say.
That's great. So, well, I believe that I'll have to stop it out here, and definitely thank Fennel, Ahmed, and Sham sir. In fact, Ahmed, I don't know whether he's there. Is he still there?
He's still there. I think he's still
Yeah,
facing.
I'm still here.
I don't know
Okay,
what I would
okay.
also
Thank you so much.
request you, if you can take down all the questions out of, copy and paste it, and maybe you can go back to them one on one, then clarify
Yes.
their questions as well.
Yeah, so I was coming to that. We have made a note of a lot of questions that's already there in the chat box. Most of the questions that has already been answered, and that's the reason I didn't ask those questions. And I'm very sure during the course of the session, I'm pretty sure they've understood those questions were answered. Right. So I would start off with thanking Ahmed, Fan, and Pankaj sir, Sham sir, that thank you so much for enlightening us with this wonderful session on CMA, IMA, and of course how we have to keep ourselves updated and what is the road ahead with regards to IMA, and how it is changing, and the opportunities that's there in the market. And it's not only in the US or an US organization, it's practically available everywhere. That is something, one of the highlights that I also could understand. And at the same time, how you have to apply logic and improve your skills when it comes to moving ahead in your career and becoming a leader as well, because at the end of the day, everyone want to climb up the ladder and do it well. Right. So there's another poll question that I have pulled up out here. With that, I would like to thank everyone, whoever have participated as well, whilst you take the poll question. We at Delphi, we are based out of India, and GCs, we are based out of Dubai as well. We would definitely get in touch with you. We would be receiving a feedback form from us as to understand how the session went and how productive and informative the session was, because at the end of the day, that is the whole purpose of the session. And we would definitely like to come up with more of these sessions for all our attendees for today, and at the same time bring in more people, so that everyone is well versed with the current world of management accounting. And of course, we will be getting in, because there were a lot of questions that was asked about the fees and things like that. My team will definitely be getting in touch with you with regards to the fees. And of course, we will keep you posted with our programs, upcoming programs in India for CMA as well. So once again, thank you so much, Fanil, Ahmed, and Shamsur, for your time. And thank you all the participants who've actually come in for this particular session, taking the time on a Saturday, mind you. That's a very big thing. So thank you so much once again from Delphi. I'm signing off. My name is Arun, and we will be getting back in touch with you with the feedback forms. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Thank
much.
you.
everyone. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.